Before too much longer, the unified Solar Republic is going to be at its territorial maximum, and we'll be able to use our all too slowly accruing influence for more internal affairs. For now, we have systems to lock down and planets to colonize. Hey there, Legion, it's Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris Federations in our final Federation 2 series. So, oh, no, interface is already back on. We're good. Let's jump in at speed 3 for now, because we are just trying to get our influence to trickle in as quickly as we possibly can so that we can finish locking down all of this territory. Hopefully within a couple of episodes, I would imagine. Maybe by this one, if the anomalies that we're working on actually bear fruit, which is, well, we'll just have to see. Looks like we finished a few upgrades over here. I can finally have another shipyard in Sol. And I may, yeah, let's go ahead and add another trade hub so that we can collect that trade value. Alpha Centauri. We are ready to add the Fleet Academy here, which I mentioned last episode. This is going to help with, if you're not familiar with Fleet Academy, notice that it provides additional starting experience for all of the ships built at that shipyard, which is really quite handy. I'm going to build another one of those at the Hades station, and we can also build one at the Sol shipyard. So that is all of our shipyards now able to produce more experienced ships out of the gate. It's quite nice. I'm going to send you to Irem, and then you are... Yeah, you can stay in Porima. That's fine. We've got a lot of rare resources in this cluster that I cannot wait to start exploiting, because we don't have... I've mentioned this, and maybe to a certain extent, haven't had a chance to read the comments on these episodes yet, maybe to a certain extent there's been, you know, a little bit of amusement because I've been talking about how my planets don't have rare resources, but I certainly have a ton of systems out in this sector that are going to be able to bring in some rare resources. Not as many as a planet would, but that's still something to look forward to, for sure. Life Electric. What's this? Science Officer Fernando Martinez reports that Pollux 7 is covered from pole to pole in a web-like network of electrical filaments. These networks respond to external stimuli. The NSS Tradewind experimented with sending a low-voltage pulse to the surface, which resulted in a wave of illumination that rippled through the network like a circuit board. Even more remarkably, the webs rearranged themselves. A second low-voltage pulse revealed that the filaments had been organized into a new pattern, centered around where the previous pulse had contacted the surface of Pollux 7. Fernando Martinez concludes that this discovery confirms his long-held theory that life can exist as almost purely electrical impulses independent of cellular or viral structure. So we can get some society research on Pollux once we have brought it into our territory. We do have one colony ship on the way.
Knowledge is the key to
Let's
the
see, where are you?
universe.
To this world. And let's see. We have this Gaia world that we should pretty much colonize immediately. I think I'm going to wait for those alloys to come in, though. Either that or... Do I need to use the growth modifier anywhere? No, probably not. No, these are alpine worlds, so mainly rock colonies. I will wait until the alloys come in for that, I suppose. However, we do have additional minerals from miners that finally finished. We can gain an L-gate insight. We can build... Well, we don't have planets where these can be built yet, so again, not the most important thing. Corvette hull points plus 100. Let's do that. We are still waiting to build our second fleet. I have to think about that as well. Illicit matter. The NSS Sagan finds a disturbing tangle of technology hidden in a deep crater on the asteroid's surface. Evidently, someone has, with rather simple means, managed to stabilize a one-way wormhole, and Science Officer Leon Jiguet quickly asserts that the asteroid is the exit point. The other end opens up somewhere in uncharted space some light years away from a black hole, and small quantities of dark matter are leaking, being siphoned through the wormhole. Whoever set this up seems to have abandoned the operation. Fascinating. So now we have dark matter here. So as I was saying, lots of... Alright, so that is done. Lots of rare resources to be investigated. Now, which anomalies are already being checked? This is a level 4 science ship. Are there any others that I have not looked at yet? It looks like that's it. So we'll find out momentarily if there's anything else for you to be doing, but for now I will put you on Auto Explore. Xerian Concern has declared the Rock High Kingdom their rival. The Rock High Kingdom has declared the Xerian Concern their rival. Okay. Well, there's something interesting we can do about that. Let's see. Or maybe not. So if I send an envoy to harm relations with the Xerian Concern, which right now I'm harming relations with the Tumbador Free Traders. And they've rivaled the Rock, but I think I've already done that. Yeah. So now they've rivaled their 2 closest neighbors. I could boost the Rock a little bit closer than I already am to being willing to be part of a federation with me by rivaling the Xeran Concern. But I would need to send an envoy to harm relations in order to do that. Now we have an envoy with them right now, and it seems like it might be shifting downward a little bit. So if I were to move that envoy, things could downturn a little bit faster, which would actually harm Federation chances. How it would balance out, I'm not sure. Then we have an envoy improving relations with the Natsa Authority. Yeah, their willingness to form a federation is also quite low. I feel like building that next fleet is just as important as I've been saying it is. So I'm going to stay focused on that for the time being. Hopefully once I have some additional ships with the alloys that I'm building up, that will weigh on their minds a little bit. And as I mentioned in past episodes, also just keep people from getting any funny ideas. All right, what do we have here? The Gonvius Independent League has declared galactic Lechak's hierarchy their rival, and the Lock and Mechanists have declared the Rock High Kingdom their rival. So these guys I've already rivaled, I think. Yes, so that's good news, actually, because now we have another mutual rival. Yeah, our acceptance here is now minus 30. So we are closer and closer to being able to federate with the Rock High Kingdom.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
Yeah, now it's at negative 25. Okay, we're getting there. I may even be able to send them a really nice trade deal. Hang on, which resources do you find most valuable at the moment? Let me put all 3 in. 1. Okay, that's not enough to tell me. Okay, so food, interestingly enough. Because you can, if you are a lithoid, it's not that you consume food, but you can use food to generate energy. So, since I have so much food, and they seem to appreciate how much food I have, I could also give them... I could give them some favors. I could. This is a new feature in Stellaris Federations where you have the ability to say, hey, we'll do something for you if you give us a little bit more galactic influence now. But for now, I think I'm going to hold off on that and see what happens if I just give 2,000 outright. Now, I already have a favorable trade deal modifier with the Rock High Kingdom, so... yeah, see, that helped it a little bit. I think it's just going to be an ideological thing, and it's going to be the size of the fleets. Okay, so that tile blocker has been researched. Good news. Naval capacity plus 30, going to need to do that soon. Food from farmers plus 20%. Habitability plus 5%. Oh, man. Starting to get some interesting choices here. Crime minus 15%, amenities plus 5. All of these are useful in their own way. I think I'm going to go ahead and research... are there any planets that are really blocked by these? Let's check. Let's make a decision here that's somewhat informed by facts. Okay, so it looks like this planet is going to have some glaciers that need to be cleared. That's what I thought. All right, so the Olympia sector apparently needs a governor. How did that happen? That's the sector over here. Do we have a governor die? Oh yeah, Governor Concetta Giordano has died at the age of 95. Missed that. Okay, well, let's have Jean Dupont take over. That'll reduce crime. Not that crime is particularly a problem right now, but we'll go with that. I went mainly for the young governor bonus there. That's what I was thinking. We also have the Senate in session, so a number of things happening at the moment. All right, so the Rock High Kingdom has accepted that. Let me just make sure that I gave that enough time. Okay, so yeah, we are close. That's the good news. We're close. The favorable trade deal modifier is now at plus 100, so that means our relationship with them is improving. I'll keep an eye on it, as I've been doing. I'm just trying to micromanage the crap out of that because I don't want to miss the opportunity to federate with them. Thankfully, it looks like they've rivaled people up there, so with that in mind, one thing I may be able to do now... hang on, I have an idea. let's go ahead and, as much as I wanted to eventually federate with these guys, I want to federate with my nearest neighbors first. Because we are going to go the militaristic route. There's so many militarist empires in this galaxy. We're gonna say if we can't beat them, join them. Not always the decision that I would make, but narratively it's the direction I want to go with this series. So, let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and send you to harm relations with the Xerian concern. Alright, and now that I've done that, I should be able to... Alright, because we currently have overwhelming... They're overwhelming compared to us. We need to build more ships, essentially. And that will change, and then we can declare them as a rival. Now, having done that, let me also take a quick look. Okay. Acceptance here is still the same, and our relationship with them is still improving for now, although that might change. Let's test it out. Good. Still going up, although the acceptance did drop by 1 point. Alright, let's just go to speed 3 and let things run for a bit. City District is done in Atlantis. Alaska is also working on administrative offices, which will help with our Empire Sprawl situation. Oh, Society Research, still waiting on that. That's right, I knew there was one more thing. Also, tile blockers. I don't think the animals are a big concern just yet, so I'm going to hold off on the blockers. Naval capacity might be the best one to go for. It's also more expensive. I could bring in additional food from farmers right now, which would enable me to give more food away. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let some time pass. Mining station and observation post. So we did get Inigor. Remember this at the end of the last episode. That worked out well. And we're almost at a point where we will be able to incorporate some additional systems over here.
Construction completed.
And we can now definitely colonize that Gaia world, which has bubbling swamps. Send humans to colonize it. This is going to be... Ooh, Cornucopia. That's not the worst name for a Gaia planet. Hang on. Let's see if we can find one. Shangri-La. That's also not a bad one. Elysium. Let's go with Elysium. I feel like at the discovery of a planet, even though this isn't the largest Gaia planet you can find, remember, these humans have never seen a better planet than that in terms of its sheer potential. Vultaumar mining base. Remnants of a small Vultaumar helium-3 mining base have been found at the bottom of a large crater on Hizar 7A. The blast that created the crater seems to have originated from inside the facility itself. Unless Vultaumar mining techniques were radically different from our own, an equipment failure or accident cannot account for such a massive explosion. Issue special project. Mining base.
Situation log has been updated.
Good. So Christian, go ahead and research that. That'll get you some additional experience. With any luck, we'll discover the Vultaumar homeworld, which will help with our influence and help us lock this stuff down. These last few anomalies should give us... Let's check. How close are we? We really haven't found that many precursor artifacts, so it might be a ways off before that happens. Sad to say, but it might be a ways off.
We have detected an anomaly.
Somewhere beneath Pollux 3A's unctuous clouds, unnatural structures silhouette themselves against the toxic surface. Go ahead and research it. It's a long anomaly, but we need to get this done.
Construction completed.
I think I want to go ahead and bring Porama into my territory because I'm a little bit worried about them trying to jump around me. Yeah, we're going to get that taken care of. My monthly influence is just shy of 4, so it's still more or less 4. Okay, the admin cap has gone back up temporarily. We're going to have to go back and forth with that a little bit. Vultaumar. Oh, interesting. Did they misspell that there? Or no, is it Vultaumar? Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, it is A-U-M. For whatever reason, whenever I see that, I often see it as U-A. It's the Vultaum, not Vultaum. Okay. Fair enough. Vultaum engineers at some point built a massive orbital complex near Cassora 1A dedicated to computer research. Strangely, they seem to have ignored the normally popular field of artificial intelligence to focus exclusively on virtual realities and massive computer simulations. Most of the complex has been ruined by weapons, fire, and micrometeoroids, but what remains is in remarkable condition given the station's age. So we have an orbital complex
has been updated.
here in Cassora. So we're going to have Robert Stiles take a look into that. That situation log update was related to that project. All right, so this observation post that we've just built is over these primitives. Some hunter-gatherers on this world. It's the Rihinar, and they are in what age? Stone Age? Wow. So the observation post exists just to bring in some additional society research. Now, we can only use passive observation because of our policies. We might change that in the future if we're going to go more militarist.
Project has concluded.
Miraculously, we managed to salvage parts of a Vultaum data core that had been blown clear of the crater on his R7A. Most of the data was corrupt, but our scientists did manage to properly translate the Korga, the basic Vultaum time unit. So we got a Vultaum artifact, some engineering research, and one minor artifact. Let me quickly take a look at my relics, because I have 53 of these. Yeah, see, we can discover precursor insights using 25 of them. We can celebrate diversity, which would gain just an instant amount of unity and improve the Xenophile ethics attraction. Let's go ahead and celebrate diversity. I think we did that once already in the series. And I do want to discover a precursor insight.
Log has been updated.
Analysis of the minor artifact suggests there may be a precursor connection on or near Siluria 5A. We should investigate this. Beautiful. All right, Christian, you've just finished that, which means this is perfect. Let's go ahead and just take care of that.
Construction completed.
All right, influence-wise, again, this is part of the reason we're at speed 3. We're just waiting for influence to come in either from gradual accruing or from some of these anomalies. And so far the anomalies have been good, but not in terms of influence.
Concluded.
Okay, 2 projects finished at once. Improved deflectors are done. Good. Let's go ahead and get physics research improved because we've already sped up society and engineering research. I'm going to research colonial bureaucracy because we do need that admin cap boost and the admin park upgrade. It's about time for that. I'm going to give the order for my ships to be upgraded here.
Upgrades applied.
Which reminds me, before I go too much longer, Ganvius refugees fleeing from the Prikikiti have arrived on Alaska. Okay, so if we have some additional refugees, that might have made one of my factions happier just now. I'll go back to what I was saying just now in just a second. Multicultural? No, not quite. The Alien Aid Initiative has... Now this is a Xenophile ethos. They have a number of things that we can do. Nothing right now, but they can possibly happen. They could make them bring in more influence per month if we make them happy. But, as I was saying, let's go back to this, because one thing I didn't check, and I got a commenter pointing this out, and they made a very good point, that swarm computers, or picket computers, these, I mean, you can't really see it with swarm, but any combat computer beyond swarm kind of determines the range of the ships that we're dealing with. And so this is a picket class ship. And you want to make sure that any weaponry on your ships, we're going to check all of my ships, is kind of compatible with the range you've selected. This is a line ship, so its range is 50. Yeah, but the range on these is 40. Interestingly enough. So this is an artillery bow. The range would be 80. Yeah, the range on this is 50, so it can fire. So if we want to have a mix of weaponry, that's really what we need to go for. I'm going to pick the Grenoble class. We're going to need to research the next level fission reactor before long, because notice that we don't have any free power here. We are not using the reactor booster at present, which I probably want to go ahead and do, because as you can see, those shields did not auto-upgrade. as a result of not having any power. So it's already affecting the designs. Yeah, same thing is happening here. I'll go ahead and do this just so that there's more power. Once we have better reactors, we should be in good shape. Now let's also look once more. This is a line computer, and yeah, we want to have coil guns. Again, the numbers that I'm looking at are range. So this is a medium range combat computer. Experimenting with this a little bit this series. So we're kind of swapping the weapons around a bit. Having lasers sit on... Well, I could have mass drivers there. Let's do that. Because the other destroyer class has bigger lasers on the front. So we'll have a... Let's see. Yeah, medium laser there. Medium coil gun, then 2 small coil guns. So it changes the makeup of that ship slightly. And then this is a line ship. But this is a little bit different. This was more by design. I know that one of these will not be able to hit. I mean, I suppose I could go ahead and give that coil gun as well, just to give it a little bit of additional firepower. But the reason that I did that was I kind of knew that I wanted the ship to be able to fire on things that were approaching it, but not necessarily have to worry about having all those weapons to fire offensively. So I was thinking about this in terms of it being a defensive build already. Yeah, so notice that even with the reactor booster, we can't have improved shields on our corvettes. That's why we need to research the next level reactor, for sure. All right, so it seems like the first fleet definitely needs some upgrades. Let's go ahead and have that happen, and we're going to jump back in. Appreciate the feedback on that. That's one thing I didn't think about. All right, so the Hantak Triad has closed their borders to us. Let's return the favor. And let's take another look at the Rock-Rock-Kai Kingdom. Acceptance is now -24. Our relationship with them is dropping, sadly. But, yeah, once I build some more ships, I should be able to rival the Xeran Concern, and maybe we can turn that around. Okay, unemployment-wise, this is a mining world. Yeah, let me go ahead and build one last mining district there. New Jamestown is in need of one of its very first district, in fact. Let's see. I'm going to say... I mean, food is fine now at this point. Looks like we have a new tradition to pick. Let's go ahead and say mining here, too. Again, we have a lot of rock pops, so we need to keep that in mind. This number could start dropping as we colonize more rock worlds and as their populations grow. Base trade protection for trade routes increased by 5. This makes piracy less likely. We've already done what we can with the stations we've built to reduce piracy. Oh, there's an archaeological site in Alpha Centauri that I've been forgetting about. The Sentinels, that's right. That popped up last episode or so. So, let's see. We have you on automatic exploration? No. I want you to come here and excavate that, please. Look into that for me, please. And...
Ship upgrades applied.
Okay. Archaeological project completed. The archaeologist investigating the Vultaumar orbital complex above Kasora 1A, it wasn't literally an archaeology project, this was just a research project, have stumbled upon an interesting find. They managed to recover a partial copy of what was apparently a fairly popular multi-user virtual reality game enjoyed by variants of Vultaum across their empire. Although the game takes place in a fictional and highly satirized version of their contemporary society, it has proved an invaluable source of information on both their language and customs. So we found an MMO, basically. All right, so the Hantak Triad, yep. Hantak Triad made peace with the Kemplar polity. Ganvius refugees. Scientist Robert Stiles is leveled up. Oh, good. So he's level 6 now. Which technically makes you better to investigate that site. So let's just put you back on Auto Explore. Let's have our very best scientist investigate that archaeology site on Alpha Centauri that I completely forgot about. We also have this archaeological site in Seozuno, so that's something to keep an eye on. Once we've got all this territory locked down, we will no longer have to spend influence. This is an aspect of playing tall versus playing wide. You no longer have to spend influence to expand, and so you can spend your influence on things like edicts. You know, people have asked me, why don't you use these more often? It's like, well, look how much influence they chew up. I'm still expanding. But once you're not expanding anymore, which is a decision you can make at any time, then how you spend your influence can change, which again plays into whether you're playing wide or playing tall. If you choose to stop expanding early, you're playing tall, but that means you can use more edicts to do more within your territory sooner. Okay, so we've just finished researching what now? Corvette hull points plus 100. Planet build speed plus 25. Synthetic crystal plants. Again, I mentioned this is going to come in handy. Destroyer build speed and destroyer build cost. We are going to be building more of those soon, so that's probably a good idea. Production targets and mineral purification plants we will eventually need, but we don't need it right now. I think I will go for standardized destroyer platforms. And it looks like the Xeran Concern has closed their borders, so I will return the favor. Definitely have to keep an eye on my fleet size because I'm starting to antagonize some of our neighbors. And I want to be ready for a fight.
Construction completed. The special project has concluded.
Nice. A thorough investigation of Siluria 5A has unearthed evidence of a past Vultaumar presence. An away team from the NSS Aldrin has managed to bring a relatively well-preserved artifact back to the ship, which should hopefully increase our knowledge of this ancient civilization. Excellent. All right, so you, once again, have no orders. You're looking into that anomaly. Seozuno will need to be investigated, so I can go ahead and send you there. And before long, we'll be able to include that in our territory. I could do it right now, as a matter of fact. Let's do that. As much as I want Loam, we'll get Loam. That's not a problem. And we still have more colonies down here to start. Let's see. Which ones do we have underway? One there, and one there. I'm looking for rare resources or just things that make planets special. Crystalline caverns on Sturl. Yep, we're going to colonize you using the rock. And yeah, we'll go with the colony name Anchor. All right, so we're going to use our next burst of influence here to bring in Seozuno so that we can investigate that archaeological site.
A new world of opportunities awaits.
So we are starting to colonize in Everim. We have room for 3 more stations that we can build in various places. I think I will go ahead and get one building in Inigor. Need to buy some minerals. Give that order right now. It's a fairly good defensive position because they have to go through a couple of systems. I might eventually be able to fortify that even farther. Pollux 3A is crisscrossed by overlapping mineral composite bands that are elevated above the harsh surface by tall, flexible pylons. Constantly agitated by atmospheric winds, these pylons sway at the overlapping bands, and the overlapping bands rub together to produce sonic waves at what are, to humans, inaudible frequencies. Science officer Fernando Martinez reports some difficulty in isolating this audio from the natural background noise of the planet, but notes that the mineral bands could, should we so choose, be broken down and efficiently recycled by the Unified Solar Republic. So we can either get lots of society research by studying the alien sounds, or we can have a world that brings in additional minerals. I'm fine with my mineral income right now. I like the idea of a big society bonus on Pollux. So we'll do that. Governor Jean Dupont has become more experienced. Really? Really, Jean? You're my brand new leader, and you're already stubborn. Okay, so he's not going to gain experience quite as quickly as he was before. All right, so we are starting to run low on amenities here. We are almost to 25, so we can do something about that. A couple of different ways. Housing-wise, I'm already in really good shape here. So I think I'm just going to build a generator district and deal with the amenities problem on Atlantis for now. And on that note, we're almost at 30 minutes for this episode, so I will stop this one here. In the next one, we're going to keep plowing forward, gaining as much influence as we can. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and give the order to build the Seozuno Starbase. And again, hopefully within an episode, I think maybe 2, we should have all this locked down, especially if we can get something to happen that'll give us a pile of influence, which is a big if. But if that happens, then we should be able to finish locking this down. And once we do, we can start spending, as I mentioned, that influence more internally, while also focusing on getting our fleet built up and being able to rival the Xeran concern, which hopefully will improve the Rock-Rockite Kingdom's chances of forming a federation with us. Let's double check the Nata Authority down here as well. Yeah, their acceptance is still quite low. The main thing that's going to do it is changing our... this is another reason that we have to wait until we're fully expanded, because if we change our alignment, we can do that, but it's going to cost us a considerable amount of influence, either per month or in a lump sum. So that's something that we have to bear in mind. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.